Our News Out Problem segment tonight. The far left continues to demonize the Tea Party as a racist outfit, and this has been going on for months, as you know. Column today in the Wall Street Journal says the racist deal is a political strategy that the Democratic Party needs because minority voters have to be with them, and if they don't get them, they're in big trouble. With us now, James Tarento, editorial page editor of the Wall Street Journal website. Now, you wrote the article and basically said, look, this is a pretty tough charge now, Mr. Tarento. It's a pretty tough charge. You're saying the Democratic Party has to have the minority votes, and in order to keep them in the flock, they're willing to use the racist charge. You know that for sure?
Well, let's start with the first half of that they need the black vote.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
If the black vote had split evenly between the parties in 2008, Barack Obama would have not have won. He would have gotten about 48%, and he was the most successful Democratic presidential candidate since 1964. So they're abjectly dependent on the black vote. Now, how do they keep the black vote? I mean, it's not just that they need black voters. They need 80 to 100% of the black vote. It's a monolithic voting bloc. How do they keep blacks voting Democratic? They have to keep alive the idea that America is a racist country and that the Republicans are a racist party.
When you say they, is this stretch into the upper echelons of the party, the DNC, you know, people making those kinds of strategic decisions? They sit around a table and they go, we got to throw this racist stuff around and keep these black voters on our side. I find it really hard to believe they would be that underhanded.
I don't think that they sit around the table and say that. I think this is a part of the culture of the party. This has been going on for 45 years. It's just something that's understood. It's a fact of life. I don't know if it's unspoken, but it's not something they need to sit down and conspire about. I think it's something that they understood. It's understood.
So over the years, you submit that the Democratic Party has used racism as a political tool to keep African Americans in the fold. That's what you're submitting.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that it's become more urgent that they do so now because we have a black president of the United States. That's something that a lot of people said would never happen or wouldn't happen anytime soon. It happened in 2008. And it's much harder to say that America is a racist country now that we've elected a black man president. So that means that it's all the more necessary to keep alive this idea that the Republican Party is a racist party.
Now, is that what the Tea Party thing is all about? Is that just branding them as racist so we can dismiss them and then keep people from joining up?
Well, there are two elements to it. One is that left-wingers in the media and Democrats have been searching for a way to discredit the Tea Party. So we've had this whole series of accusations. They're astroturf, fake grassroots, they're extremists, they're birthers, the latest one is they're a potential Timothy McVeighs, as Bill Clinton implied. And so the racist is part of that. The racist accusation is part of that. But it's also part of the effort to keep blacks from leaving the party. One of the arguments they make that the Tea Party is racist is that it's mostly white. There aren't a lot of blacks in the Tea Party. Polls show between 1% and 5%, which is much lower than the black percentage of the population. Well, part of that is because of the pre-existing partisan alignment. Blacks vote 80 to 90% Republican. The Tea Party,
95% voted for Barack Obama.
95% voted for Obama. And this is a movement against the policies of a Democratic president who also happens to be the first black president. So blacks feel a certain racial pride, which is a perfectly wholesome and understandable emotion.
President Obama himself has rejected all of this racism stuff, I think, very smartly. He has said, look, I was black before the vote. You know, all of this racism, criticism of me is bogus. So he has not bought into this.
He has largely stayed above the fray, I agree.
Right. But does he know the fray is happening? Do you believe that Rahm Emanuel and the other powers behind the throne are saying, look, anybody who criticizes Obama, we can go after him as a racist? Because that's been used, particularly by the media. When you criticize Obama, you become suspect. Maybe you're a racist. Maybe you're doing this because he's black.
Well, I can't speak to what Rahm Emanuel and company say in private, but certainly this is the case. And it seems to me that the fact that people are vigorously criticizing Barack Obama, just like people vigorously criticize every other president of the United States, is evidence of how far America has come beyond its racist past. I mean, Barack Obama is the president of the United States. He's out there getting criticized, and that's the great American tradition.
All right, but you do feel that the racism label is being used as a political tool.
Absolutely.
By the Democratic Party.
And has been for many years.
All right. Mr. Tarento, thanks you very much. I appreciate it. Well, plenty more ahead as Factor moves along this evening.